Hey kids, hope you're all having a fun, frolicking day. I said frolicking, not a bad word that sounds like it, because bad words are bad. It's self-explanatory. Self-explanatory means that it describes itself. So why don't you give yourself a big ol' high five for knowing what self-explanatory means. My name is Gavin, but that's not very fun. So you could call me Mr. Woodcock, or Sir, or Teacher, because I am here to teach you about facts without talking down to you, because while I realise that kids need to be told things like they're hearing them for the first time, I also know that you don't need to say it like you're saying it to a dog who only just learnt to not urinate on a carpet after you've been training it for 7 months. Like every time it does something, it's an achievement. Urinate means go to the toilet, by the way, kids. I've surrounded myself with colourful toys and I'm looking all silly. Because why would you pay attention to someone because of their average traits? You'd have to, not have ADD. ADD. That stands for Attention Deficit Disorder. That's the thing that makes everything seem more fun, but get very boring very quickly. And your parents won't admit it to themselves that you have it. This toy right here is a plane. Can you say plane? Because if you can, I can't hear it. It's a bad habit to get into, to think that the people on TV and computer screens can hear you. It breeds celebrity dependence. This is the internet age. It's a bad habit, to be honest. You should learn from an early age that the people on television cannot hear you. Today's lesson is going to make you very, very smart. But it's also going to be hard work. It's always hard work to improve your mind and seek out new knowledge. But it's also always worth it. So go ahead and give yourself a big high five for seeking out knowledge today, kids. And I'm not being condescending there. Literally do that. You deserve it. I realise you're too young to understand this, but, you would not believe how many grown-ups today don't give two toes about correct information or bettering themselves through research and knowledge. It's an absolute shocker, kids. Good luck growing up in today's world. God help you. Make sure you've had a nap and a refreshment before today's lesson, kids. I recommend apple juice, which will give you brain power, or milk to help your bones grow nice and strong. Don't be like Mr. Gavin, kids. Don't drink like nothing but soda for like 15 years straight and then end up with bones weaker than the screen you're using to watch this on right now. Don't punch it, okay? Mummy will get mad. This is coffee. This is what Mummy and Daddy drink to put up with you. The legal stuff, anyway. Today's lesson is all about the alphabet. The alphabet is a series of letters that make the sounds that come out of your mouth. You're already using the alphabet and you don't even know it. There are only so many sounds you can make with your mouth, and they're all a letter. There are 26 letters in the alphabet. The English one, anyway. I don't speak Japanese or anything. I have to imagine if you are Japanese, your national educational system and parental ethics are much better, and the parents there don't have to stick their kids in front of hour-long YouTube compilations in order to do their job for them. For all you Western kids in the audience, though, let's strap in and take this convenient shortcut together. With fun! The first letter of the alphabet is A. It's at this point, we'll just get it out of the way, that every letter in the alphabet has an uppercase letter and a lowercase letter. To understand the usage of these at your age is literal fool's play. It's ludicrous that parents would expect a toddler to understand names and grammar structure at this point. So we'll just, take it nice and slow. Baby steps. Every letter in the alphabet has two sounds, a long sound and a short sound. The long sound for A is just that, it's A, as in apricot, acorn, or alien. The short sound for the letter A is A, as in adventure, anthrax, or apple. The second letter of the alphabet is B, which is the long sound, and B, is the short sound. The third letter of the alphabet is C. And the short sound, I shan't repeat these a million times, by the way, like most people. For one thing, the video has a scroll bar. If you want to rehear anything, you can just rewind it at any time. Secondly, it's not that hard. It's the most basic lesson. One and done. Get your mummy to, pause the video for you, if you're so inclined. So the long sound is C, which doesn't even sound like this letter, okay? It sounds like another letter that we'll learn later on called S. And its short sound is K, which is also the short sound for another letter called K, which again we'll learn later on. Don't get too fond of the English language, kids. It's all messed up. Its rules are all over the place. I know it's sometimes fun to break the rules, but here it's just annoying. The fourth letter in the alphabet is D. This will mean nothing to you if you haven't done numbers yet. If you would like me to teach you numbers after I've done the alphabet, give this video a big old thumbs up. Now, I don't mean a thumbs up in real life. I mean like a digital thumbs up. By clicking the thumbs up button below this video. This kind of digital reality back and forth will become second nature to you. As you grow up around this stuff, it just becomes ingrained. Like knowing which button on a download page is the real download button, and which of all the others are just ads disguised as download buttons. You'll just know. See, old people seem to have a problem with that. They can't see the subtle differences between a real button and a fake button. They don't get it. They're not cool like you and me. The next letter in the alphabet is E, and the short sound for E is E. E is a vowel. A is also a vowel. A vowel is a letter that you mostly make with your mouth open. And there are 5 of them in the alphabet, which means that 21 letters in the alphabet are not vowels. Bit uneven. The rest of the letters are consonants. Consonants you make mostly with your mouth closed, like B, K, and D. After E comes F. It's good to associate each letter in the alphabet with a word that begins with that letter, as the first letter in a word is often the strongest, and so it helps you remember it more. I guess the most obvious one for F would be frog. The short sound for F is F, which is what you say when you say the word frog. You see? You'd really only ever use long sounds for a letter to denote them within the alphabet or separately. What's next? The next letter is G. The short sound for G is G. Now, my name begins with G. G is for Gavin. Remember that. Learn it. Fixate it within your mind. Use that as an association. And what else are you going to use? Gnome? Can't even hear the G. G is objectively the best letter in the alphabet. Remember that. The next letter in the alphabet is H. H is terrible. H doesn't hold a candle to G. I'm sorry if your name begins with H. But remember, it's okay to not be perfect. We'll touch more on that in a later episode on existentialism, which basically means we'll be looking at the nature of you and what makes you you and what you care about and why you're here and alive. And the short sound for H is H. After H comes I. The short sound for I is I. A lot of these are just funny sounds, so they should be easy for you to remember. I stands for igloo. You'll probably never see one of those in your entire life, unless you get into a geographical field, and even then it's rare. It's a terrible associative word. Use internet instead. Everyone uses the internet nowadays. I realise it's not like a solid thing, but just associate it with a picture of a computer and you'll be fine. Next comes J, or J. J stands for jumper. Now if you're in England, a jumper is an item of clothing that keeps you warm. But if you're in America, it's someone who's attempting something not very nice. So find a different word. Like journalism. I know how you kids like imaginary things, so that's a good one to use. The next letter is K, or K. Like I said, it has the same short sound as the letter C. Yeah. But don't confuse them. Okay, it's not that hard. Let's move on. L or L stands for lion. Again, a ridiculous expectancy for you to associate with it. Use lamp instead. A lamp is a thing that gives you light at night, and light also begins with L. M or M stands for mummy. Most kids have a mummy and see them all the time, so that one's easy to remember. If you don't have a mummy, I'm sorry if I upset you. And remember that it's okay to not have a mummy. Whether it's because you have two daddies, or you lost your mummy and you only have the one daddy, or your mummy didn't want you and gave you away. Remember, kids, if someone doesn't want you, they're not worth being wanted by. They were holding you down, and you're better off without them. Individuality. N or N is for no. That's a very short and easy word to remember, but it's also a very powerful one. Remember to use it if you're ever in danger or asked to do something that you don't want to do. Or if your mum puts kidney beans on your plate. You know, nobody wants that noise. No. O is for orange. Not to be confused with tangerines that start with T, mandarins that start with M, satsumas that start with S, nectarines that start with N, or clementines that start with sadness. The next letter is P, or P. Food items, especially fruits and veg, make great associatives. So for P, you can use pear. Q, or Qu, it doesn't stand for a lot of things. It's a very lonely letter in the alphabet, but it can stand for Quaker, which is something like, it's sort of a bit like an Amish priest. R, or R, stands for Robin. A simple one, no need to hang about. S, or S, is a great letter. It stands for so many things and is used very often. It can stand for things like sugar, snake, or star, like a star in the night sky, or a star-like person on TV that everyone seems to love. As you grow older, you will, at some point, like most people, want to be a star on television, as everybody wants to be loved and appreciated by everybody else. But what's important for you to know is that you don't need the attention of millions of strangers in order to be important or wanted by somebody. And you also don't need to be considered special or better than everybody else in order to be happy and content. Don't let all the bright colours and the excitement and how all the grown-ups around you seem to adore these people on TV drive you to reach unreasonable expectations or set a ridiculously high yet vain bar for yourself. Those people often end up very dissatisfied or unhappy, or at the very least without anything that makes them a benefit or an interesting addition to the world around us. All you need to do is improve your mind, be comfortable with who you are and what makes you happy, and don't hurt anybody else, and you can have a happy and healthy life. Those are Gavin's rules for life, kids. Do what makes you happy, first and foremost. Always try and improve yourself. Don't hurt anybody else along the way, and help others where you can. I think if you stick to those four, you'll be fine. It'll turn out just fine. Your life won't have bright lights and big crowds, but it'll be yours, and it'll be real and raw and honest. And that's what should matter, I think. Next comes T. T, or T, is a very easy one to remember, because the letter T also stands for the word tea, which is a drink. And maybe when you're old enough, your parents will let you try a cup. It's very refreshing, and good for you, to be honest. I've had like 7 cups in like the past 2 days, with a whole bunch of honey squirted in them. T also stands for TT Games, which is the company that makes all those Lego video games you like so much. Fun fact about Mr. Gavin, kids, he also really loves Lego and the Lego games, and he lives about half an hour away from the office where they make those games. And he's never once got to visit them. So you know, if you're wondering why Mr. Gavin looks so salty all the time, that's one of the factors, yes. U, or stands for umbrella, which is a thing that keeps you from getting wet in the rain. They're also the subject of the fantastic 2013 animated short, The Blue Umbrella, which is a great short little film. You should get your parents to show it to you if you haven't already seen it. In fact, you know what? Actually, yeah, after you've watched this video, if your parents aren't in the room, go and walk up to them and say, beg them, go like this. Don't show me bad movies, Mummy and Daddy. Stop showing me things like The Nut Job, or the million Chipmunks or Smurf sequels, or anything that Illumination Entertainment has produced. Or show me good things, like the Pixar shorts, or anything by Leica. Don't get me into the habit of watching trash. Kids' movies and shows don't have to be all fart jokes and obnoxiously loud noises. They can be well written. Don't get me into a bad standard. You have the power, Mummy, Daddy. V or V is another uncommon letter in the alphabet, but it can stand for vaccine. Now, vaccine is a shot that the doctor gives young kids like you in order to stop them from getting sick. Your parents should get them for you, or have already gotten them for you. If they haven't, I'm sure it's because they're incredibly busy, and I'm sure they're still good people. Are they gone? Are they still here? Make sure they get those for you. They do not have your best interests in mind if they don't. W, or W, stands for window. A window lets you see the world outside from your house. You can see trees, birds, the sky, other houses. If you live in a flat or apartment, you can look down and see all the people scurrying around. You can see all kinds of cool things in the outside world from your window. My apologies if you live in Hackney, you'll see nothing of the kind. Mostly rubbish skips and shops with the shutters down. X is probably the least used and stupidest letter of the alphabet. I'm sorry if your name is Xander, but it's the truth. X stands for about 5 things, one of them being xylophone, and with the exception of words like X-ray, it's almost always pronounced like a Z, unless you're using it to ironically replace the EX prefix in a word, like with the word extreme. I'll do it again. Extreme. As far as I know, X doesn't have a short sound, it's just X. It's just lame. Y, or Y, is a cheeky... Y, or Y, is a cheeky letter. Some people will try to convince you that it's a secret vowel. Those people are liars, and you should never trust liars, kids. Y stands for yogurt, which will help your bones grow, as like milk, it contains lots of calcium, I imagine. I recommend Petit Filet, which is a French name, but let's stick to English words for the time being. Finally, the very last letter in the alphabet is Z, or Z. Some people say Z, either way flies. Z is that letter that X has a personality crisis over. Now, Z can stand for 0, which is the very first number, which is a good way to remember it, because you can remember it like the very last letter is Z, and the very first number is 0. You see? Z0, Z0. So, let's review what we've learned so far. There are 26 letters in the alphabet. Those are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. 5 of them are vowels. Those are A, E, I, O and U. And the rest are consonants. Vowels you say with your mouth open, and consonants you say with your mouth closed, or your lips or teeth together, or your tongue in some kind of use. You can remember the alphabet very simply by using a very basic song that goes like this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's actually a G note. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, and V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now you see, if you say Z instead of Z, it won't rhyme. Alternatively, come up with your own song. That one's a bit cliche. Practice saying the alphabet, children. It will give you good control over each individual letter. Remember to use a word to help you remember each letter. And like I said, fruits and veg work very well. Apple, banana, carrot, a dill pickle, and so forth. All these letters can be used to make words. Stick with one-syllable words, I think would be best at beginner level. Words like car, dog, egg, meme, clock, or rent. When you look inside a book, you'll see lots of letters. These letters make up words and they all have meaning. Try opening up a book, or get your mummy and daddy to show you inside your favourite book, and you'll see nothing but words. Well, maybe some, illustrations and pictures too. But, practice saying these words and get your mummy and daddy to show you what each of these words mean. And you'll be reading 1984 in no time. And for the love of God, make sure you're opening up the right books. Don't accidentally grab a hold of Daddy's copy of the Daily Mail or Mummy's latest issue of Heat. Honestly, your books are more well written and factual. So stick to Spot the Dog. Have fun using the alphabet, kids. It's an incredibly useful tool, and as you'll come to find out later in life, a severely dangerous one. You can change the world with words. You can also destroy lives. Be very careful with the power you've just been handed. Remember to always think about the words you're using, kids. Stay critical. Stay happy. Always ask questions. And never stop learning. If an old person tells you they know everything, they are a sorry excuse for a mature and well-educated person, quite frankly. You never stop learning. That's just arrogance. Learn to love learning, kids. For now, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you again real soon for another lesson. Don't wave like a maniac on your way out. That's just what they want you to do. They think it's cute and naive. Don't be naive. See you later.